What is best than a rainy and gray day to talk about love and dating and finding your other half, or hopefully just someone that is two halves on their own? And we're going to talk about that. Recently, my friend Allison made a video about finding love on the road as a nomad. And we were talking about this, and I told her about some experience I had, and we decided we were both going to release those type of videos. So today I am going to tell you not how many toads I had to kiss, but how many coffees I had to have. So, next. Before we go there, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. We need to grow as a channel. I know the spring is out there and people are out there frolicking in the fields, meeting new people and being all romantic and everything, and watching videos on YouTube is not the first option. But on a day like this, when it's rainy and blah, it's either you watch a video on YouTube and you help someone by subscribing to their channel, or you take a good nap, because that is the next best thing. So this is the thing. In 2018, so not far ago, kind of. In 2018, I decided I wanted to try and see if I could meet someone interesting, to have a little bit more than a friendship, and a little bit more, that kind of thing. So I went online, because mostly when you're in Minnesota, where people are so cold and not so open, and I don't mean cold in the sense of they are cold, they are just not very open. So it is very difficult. So I went online and I wanted to tell you about my adventures, because a friend of mine at that point, she said, you should accept only dinner invitations. And I didn't want to have that option, because I was thinking, if I don't like the other person, I have to sit in front of that person for a whole hour. Would the dinner last? And I thought, no, I wouldn't be comfortable with that. Just coffee the first time is fair, is good for both of us to understand if there is something else that we would like to explore. And it doesn't hurt. It lasts 10, 15 minutes or hours, depending on how you communicate with the other person. So I thought the coffee option for me was the logical way to go. So I started accepting coffee invitations, and nothing was happening. I had the feeling more than once that I was sitting in front of a married man many times. One of them, he even confused my name and he called me another name. And I said, no, my name is this other one. Oh, I'm sorry, he says. And he felt really bad. Another one, the wife started yelling at him on the phone at some point. So another one, from the beginning, he said, just so you know, I am dating many ladies at the same time. You will be just one more. So those kind of things, it was like next, all the time. So at some point I started noticing like a pattern. It was either people who would lie on their profiles and show you some photos of them when they were like 20 or 30 years younger. And not that I wanted to go with someone that young, but they would say, I'm sorry, I don't have more recent photos, which is kind of shady on its own, because come on, everybody has a phone and everybody has a mirror. Everybody can snap a bad photo of themselves. But when we met, it was difficult to recognize the same person in there. In one particular case, I couldn't recognize the same face. I think he just stole the photos from a website or something. So to me, those are red flags, because those are people who lie. If they need to attract you with a photo that is not them, that's a lie. And I don't want to do anything with a person that lies. Hey, be honest. That's all I ask for. So, believe it or not, I am going to give you 3 options. How many coffees did I accept? Or how many coffee dates did I go to? 10, 30, over 100. You choose. It was not over 100, but it was close to 100. And I only dated 2 people out of that, and for a very short while, because there was nothing there. So we could speculate about why there are so many people out there lying or not following through, because they would meet with you for coffee, but then they wouldn't call you again, they would ghost you, those kind of things. So why do we do that? Why do we put the other through those things? I have all these questions. I had all these questions. I had all the questions like, why would you ghost someone else? Why wouldn't you just say, sorry, you're not my type? And that's it. There was only one that invited me for dinner and theater, and I said yes, and I regretted it because he was not that interesting. And he invited me to go for lunch the following day, and then he called me and he said, you know, I changed my mind. You're a little overweight for my taste. Okay. Whatever. I was really angry at first, but then I thought, no, I should be grateful, because a person that is that shallow actually, he did something good for me. He prevented me from being with him. I think it was not that I was overweight. He was really tiny. He was slightly shorter than me and very thin. And I guess the problem was him, that didn't feel confident enough to go around with a woman that was slightly bigger than him. Whatever it was, I got rid of that one very easily. It was easy. Here comes the fun part of all of this. I decided I cannot be the only one who is going on 100 coffee dates and not meeting anyone interesting. No one. I cannot be the only one. There must be other people going through the same situation. So I decided to go on a meetup. You know Meetup, the meeting people app for, I don't know, wine tastings or hikes or whatever. So I decided to go on Meetup, and create a singles group. And I thought, we get together at at a coffee shop or something, we sit around a table and we exchange ideas and we brainstorm to see if other people are having the same experiences. So I chose a park that was near my home, a beautiful big park with a visitor center. On the side of the visitor center, they had these enormous amount of recliners, wooden chairs, like wooden chairs all around the patio, and tables and chairs. So there were many spaces where you could sit with people to talk, and they did have a coffee shop inside with lots of tables. Beautiful place. So I decided, okay, we can meet here, sit around the table. If I get to meet 3 or 4 other ladies who tell me about their experiences, or a couple of guys who also exchange opinions, maybe we can grow together and try to understand what we are doing wrong. I was in 2 or 3 different dating sites. The sound of the rain is so beautiful. I hope it doesn't bother you. In any case, as the date approached for the first meeting of our singles club, people were signing up and signing up and signing up, and the closer to the day, we were more than 50 or 60 people. The actual day of the meeting, we were almost 70. And every Thursday at 3 p.m. we would meet at that same park for the whole summer. So we are talking about at least 4 months. So 4 or 5 Thursdays a month. All that many times we met at that park, and we became great friends. The regular amount of people showing up was always around 50 to 60, and it was more or less the same amount of women and men. They all had the same experiences. What was funny was that first day I was thinking of having a coffee shop conversation with a few people. It was such a big group, I had to come up with some icebreakers and things, and sort of a collective conversation. In occasions I would split the group in smaller groups with a little task to perform, like questions and things. We did a lot of things. We became great friends with many of them. But it was funny because I had a little box, and I would give them Post-its and pens, and I would ask them, please pass them around and put a message in the box. I don't know, Ellen, you're cute. You don't need to sign it. Just say something nice to someone else. Tom, you dress very nicely. Whatever. Just something. Say something. Do not sign it if you don't want to, but just say something nice to someone else. Nobody ever put a note in that box. Nobody ever. There were no compliments exchanged that way. Nothing. People are so closed sometimes. We practiced speed dating. Out of that big group, only 2 people went to a speed dating, had gone to a speed dating event before. So I organized all the chairs, and we played speed dating. Everybody knew everybody, so it was comfortable for them. But all of those who had never gone to a speed dating event before, they were hooked up. They loved the idea of sitting in front of one person, looking at each other in the eye and asking, what do you do for a living? Where do you live? Do you have kids? Those kind of things. Basic questions that they would ask looking at each other for a couple of minutes. After the second round, everybody was saying, no, 2 minutes is too little time. No, it has to be 5 minutes. Everybody was loving the exercise. And that is the problem. The context, the group was a safe place. So everybody was having fun talking to each other and sharing. But online, which is a bigger group, they were not confident enough and they were not doing it. If they were going out with someone, the same thing happened. They wouldn't talk. I don't know, I guess. The thing is, every day, every Thursday, after we were done with our conversations, we would go together to a restaurant or something to keep going. So Thursdays were blocked out of our calendars for months because we were having too much fun with that group. There were no couples getting together during those 4 months. I think only 1 or 2 dated a couple of times, just that. It's amazing. It amazes me how difficult it is to get together with someone else at our age. I don't know. I suppose it is difficult, the same difficult for people in their 20s and 30s or any age. I think it is the same. I think we have grown so used to being alone that we don't trust anybody else. I don't know. And I guess that is why many people just date their sweethearts from high school and they stay there. So if your experience is different, please let me know. Nowadays, as a nomad, I am about to start exploring. There are a couple of nomad groups. I don't remember the names, but I am going to set them in the description. There are a couple of nomad groups who state they are single. So I suppose it is easier in that environment to maybe create some sort of relationship, just because they are having the same lifestyle and they have the freedom of moving together from one side to another. My ideal situation would be to meet a friend that we could meet at some places, camp together for a few days, and then travel together or not. But that would be my ideal scenario. I don't know why it is so difficult nowadays, but as I say, it is not just among the nomads. In my experience, it happens in every group in society, even if you're not a nomad. So give me your ideas, let's talk about this, and let's see what other people do in comments. Just check some other people's comments. Let's have the conversation with more people than just me. Read the comments, make comments on someone else's comments, and say, hey, you have a beautiful name. That kind of thing. Be kind to each other. So we will see. If you have had that experience on the road, if you're already a nomad and you have had that experience, let us know, just to try to understand what is happening with humankind. Thank you for being here. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. You have a great rest of your week, and be kind to others. Take care.